For the continuation of the discussion, we have the quadrilaterals that are parallelogram. So here in our video, we are going to tackle the other quadrilaterals that is also a parallelogram. So we have here the rectangle that is a parallelogram with 4 right angles. And we also have another quadrilateral, which is the square. It is a rectangle with 4 congruent sides. And we also have the rhombus. It is a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. So now we are going to have a properties of the quadrilaterals that we have, which are the rectangle, square, and rhombus. So we are going to apply the properties doon sa ating figure or plane figure. So let's start first with our rectangle. So for our rectangle, we have here the figure above, which is our rectangle, and also we have the properties of rectangle. So here, let's say that our rectangle A, B, and A, B, C, D. So we have the rectangle A, B, C, D. So we are going to proceed with our properties of rectangle. So the first properties of rectangle that we have is a rectangle has all the properties of parallelogram. So if you remember the properties of parallelogram, that is 6. So 6 dapat yung lahat ng properties ng parallelogram natin, which is yung 6 na yun, dapat ay makikita din natin or we can apply it to our rectangle. So I have included the properties of parallelogram here on the other side so that we can have a copy. So these are the properties of parallelogram para sa ating first property of the rectangle. So dapat sa ating rectangle, meron din siyang both pairs of opposite sides that is a parallel. Okay? So therefore, we have here that the first opposite side natin, we have B. A line BA is parallel kay line CD. Line CD. And the other opposite side natin is we have the line BC. So line BC is parallel to line AD. So now we have proved the first property ng parallelogram sa ating rectangle. Now next is, let's prove the second one. The both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. So sa ating rectangle, ay kailangan makita natin that the both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. Since this is a rectangle, the sides of our rectangle must be equal. So therefore, if this is 5 inches, then the other side is also 5 inches. So they are equal. So therefore, our line BA is congruent sa ating line CD. And the other pair of opposite side that is also a congruent, if our line BC is equal to equal siya kay 8 inches, then line AD is also 8 inches. So therefore, line BC is congruent to line AD. Now, we have proved the number 2, or we have showed the number 2. Now, let's proceed to the third property of parallelogram or our rectangle. So, one pair of opposite side is parallel and congruent. Since we have proved the number 1 and number 2, which is both pairs are parallel and both pairs are congruent, then the one pair is also a parallel and congruent. Kaya, BA or line BA is parallel to line CD. And line BA is congruent to line CD. So, yung isang pair natin, which is yung BA and CD, or the opposite side, is parallel and also it is a congruent. So, now, let's proceed with the fourth properties ng parallelogram na makikita natin kay rectangle. Both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So, bago tayo mag-proceed with our number 4 in parallelogram, let's have the second properties of rectangle. So, sa properties of rectangle natin, all the angles of a rectangle are right angle. So, ibig sabihin, si angle A is equal to 90 degree since right angle siya. And we can have this symbol so that we can identify that this is or they have the same angle. Okay po. So, automatic, when we have this symbol, it is automatic 90 degrees. Okay? Now, since we have already clear out the second properties of rectangle, which all the angles of a rectangle are right angle, balik tayo doon sa properties ng parallelogram, which is also na nakay rectangle. So, both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So, ang opposite angle natin dito, so angle A is congruent kay opposite niya, which is yung angle C. Since it is a congruent because they have the same shape and also they have the same measurement. So, si angle A is equal to 90 degree, angle C is also equal to 90 degree. So, another pair of opposite angle natin is yung angle B. Since angle B is equal to 90 degree, then the opposite angle, which is angle D, is also 90 degree. So, therefore, angle B is congruent to angle D. So, now next, proceed tayo kay property number 5. The consecutive angles are supplementary. So, dapat yung magkasunod na angles natin ay equal siya sa 180 degree, which is our supplementary angle. So, let's try to add the consecutive angle. So, let's start with angle A plus angle B is equal to, so angle A is equal to 90 degree and angle B is equal to 90 degree and it is equal to 180 degree. So, the first consecutive angle is supplementary angle. So, next is angle B plus angle C is equal to 90 degrees. So, yung angle B natin is 90. Angle C is 90 degree. So, it is equal to 180 degree. Next, consecutive angle that we have, angle C plus angle D is equal to, angle C is 90 degree, plus natin kay angle D, which is also 90 degree, it is equal to 180 degree. And next, consecutive angle that we have, angle D plus angle A. Since magkasunod si angle D and angle A, then angle D is equal to 90 degree and angle A is 90 degree as well. And it is equal to 180 degree. So, if we see that the consecutive angle that we have is equal to, or it is a supplementary angle. Therefore, yung number 5 natin ay naka-rectangle as well. Now, let's proceed with our diagonals, or with number 6. The diagonals bisected each other. So, the first diagonal natin is diagonal BD. So, we have the diagonal BD and diagonal AC. So, meron tayong diagonal AC. So, sa diagonal natin, yung diagonal BD natin is binisect niya C or hinati niya into equal parts si diagonal AC. And si diagonal AC, hinati niya or binisect niya into equal part si diagonal BD. So, therefore, the diagonals of our rectangle bisect each other. So, nakita natin si properties number 6 ng parallelogram kay rectangle. Okay? Now, we are done with properties of property 1 ng ating rectangle, which a rectangle has all the properties of parallelogram. Next is, we have the properties of a rectangle, which all angles of a rectangle are right angle, which is also, we have shown it a while ago. And now let's proceed with our third. The diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. So, ibig sabihin, if our line AC or diagonal AC natin is equal to 7 or 9 inches, etong buong line na natin ng diagonal AC is 9 inches, then let's have this one. Diagonal AC is equal to diagonal BD. Therefore, if AC is equal to 9 inches, then yung ating diagonal BD is also equal to 9 inches. Kasi they are congruent. Therefore, kapag bisect natin si BD using the diagonal of AC, then this is 4.5 inches. And the other side is also 4.5 inches. And since they are the same, the diagonal AC, pag bisect natin, this is also 4.5 inches and the other one is also 4.5 inches. Kasi pag sinabing bisect, we divide it into two equal part. So now we have shown that the diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Now this is the first another quadrilaterals that is a parallelogram. Since bakit siya quadrilaterals, that is a parallelogram? Dahil yung properties ng parallelogram natin is also in the rectangle natin. Okay? Now next is, we are going to proceed to another quadrilaterals that is also a parallelogram, which is dapat etong ating quadrilateral, nasa kanya din yung properties ng parallelogram natin. So now we have the rhombus. So rhombus, we have the properties of rhombus, which are, a rhombus has all the properties of parallelogram. All sides of rhombus are congruent. The diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular. And the angles of a rhombus are bisected by the diagonal. Okay? Sige. Let's start with number 1. So, a rhombus has all the properties of parallelogram. So, that's why I have included again the properties of parallelogram sa ating screen. So, now let's start with the number 1. That both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So, yung opposite sides natin, let's name it first. We have A, B, C, and D. Okay? Now, let's have this one, that the both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So, if AD, or the line AD, parallel siya kay line BC. Because if we extended the line, it will not intersect. And another pair of parallel or opposite side that is also a parallel is yung ating line AB. So, line AB natin is also parallel to line CD, or pwede din a line DC. Okay? So, we have the two pairs of opposite sides which is parallel. Next, we have the second, that both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. So, in our rhombus, yung sides natin is just like a square, which is, yung sides niya, if one side is equal to 4 inches, then the other three sides are also 4 inches. That's why I have put already the symbol that they have equal length. Okay? And next, both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. So, yung opposite side natin, let's have the AD or line AD. and line BC. So we are going to identify if it is a congruent. So line AD is congruent to BC because they have the same length. Therefore, it is congruent. And yung line AB natin is also congruent to our line CD because they have the same measurement, which is 4 inches. Therefore, both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. Next, property of parallelogram na meron si rhombus is one pair of opposite sides is parallel and congruent. So we can get again to the two properties that we have cited kanina. The one pair AD or line AD is also a parallel to line BC, and also line AD is congruent as well to line BC. So therefore, one pair of opposite sides of our rhombus is parallel and congruent. Next, we have number 4. Both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So, ibig sabihin dapat yung opposite angles natin ay congruent. So, for example, yung ating angle A is equal to 80 degree and yung angle B natin is equal to 100 degree. Okay? Since yung angle A natin is 80 degree, the opposite angle ng angle A is yung angle C natin. Angle C. Since the opposite angles are congruent, therefore, angle C is also 80 degree. Okay? So, it means they are congruent. And, yung isa pa nating opposite angle is yung angle B. The opposite angle is angle D. Since si angle D, ang opposite niya, si angle B, then they must have the same measurement. If si angle B is 100 degree, so I will put another symbol, then the angle D is also 100 degree. Okay? So they are congruent. So therefore, both pairs of opposite angle of our rhombus are congruent. Now let's have the number 5. So the consecutive angles are supplementary. Dapat it is equal to 180 degree. So let's have the angle A plus angle B must be 180 degree. So angle A is equal to 80 degree plus angle B, which is 100 degree. It is equal to 180 degree. Okay? So it is supplementary angle. Next consecutive angle is angle B plus angle C. So angle B is equal to 100 degree plus angle C is, since we don't have a measurement in angle C, but it is congruent to angle A, therefore it is equal to 80 degree. Then it is equal to 180 degree. Next, consecutive angle natin, angle C plus angle D. Angle C is 80 degree because it is congruent to angle A. So 80 degree plus angle D, wala din siyang measurement but it is congruent to angle B, therefore it is 100 degree. And it is equal to 180 degree, which is supplementary angle. Another one is yung angle D plus angle A. Angle D is 100 degree since it is congruent kay angle B plus angle A, which is 80 degree, then it is equal to 180 degree. So therefore, all the consecutive angles of our rhombus is supplementary angle. So number 5 yon. And number 6 property natin, the diagonals bisect each other. So yung diagonal natin, diagonal AC natin, binisect siya ni diagonal BC or hinati siya into equal parts ni diagonal BD. So, diagonal AC bisect by diagonal AC natin, diagonal BD natin. So, therefore, we have the intersection part. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, let's have E here. Ayan, yung intersection part natin. Ibig sabihin, si BE is equal, or yung measurement ni line BE, line segment BE, is equal kay line segment DE. Ibig sabihin, same measurement sila. And, of course, yung ating line AE is also similar or same measurement to line segment CE. So, ibig sabihin, same measurement sila. Therefore, the diagonals bisect each other. Okay? Next is, since we are done with the properties of parallelogram in our rhombus, now let's proceed with the second property of our rhombus, which is all the sides of rhombus are congruent. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng sides ng ating congruent ay pare-pareha ang shape and pareha din ang measurement. So, therefore, if this is 4 inches, the 3 side is also 4 inches. Okay? So, meron na tayong number 2 that all sides of a rhombus are congruent. Kaya si line AB is congruent kay line BC, and line BC is also congruent kay line CD. And CD or line CD is also congruent to line DA. Okay? Now, next is, we have number 3. The diagonals of rhombus are perpendicular. So, ibig sabihin, kapag sinabi nating perpendicular, it has 90 degree or it creates 90 degree. So, yung diagonal natin ay na BD and AC is a perpendicular. So, ibig sabihin, the degrees or measurement of the center is 90 degree. Okay po. So, ibig sabihin, number 3 natin, the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular. Next is, the angles of a rhombus are bisected by the diagonal. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung angle C natin, which is 90 degree, angle C is equal to angle C is congruent to angle A, which is 80 degree. So, therefore, angle C is equal to 80 degree. Since yung angle daw natin or yung mga angles natin sa ating rhombus is bisected by the diagonal, therefore, na-bisect si angle C. So, kaya si angle C has angle 1 and angle 2. Or let's say, this is angle 1 and angle 2. Let me use other color of pen so that you can know where we are. So, we have here the angle 1 and angle 2. So, therefore, angle 1 is equal to 45 degree and angle 2 is also 45 degree. Bakit po siya 45 degree? Sorry, it is 40 degree. Ayan. It is 40 degree. Angle 1 is 40 degree and angle 2 is 40 degree. So, bakit siya 40 degree? Like in the properties of our rhombus, it says the angle of a rhombus are bisected. Definition of bisect is divided into equal part. So, therefore, kung hinata si angle C, using the diagonals, then it was divided, or the angles or the measurement is divided into 2 equal parts. Kung si angle C is 80 degree, then if dinivide natin siya by 2, then it is 40 degree. Okay? Next is, let's have the angle. Kung angle C is 80 degree and angle 1 and 2 is 40 degree, then the opposite angle niya na angle A is also 80 degree and it is angle 3 and angle 4. So, yung angle 3 natin is equal to 40 degree as well, and angle 4 is equal to 40 degree. Same measurement kay angle 1 and angle 2. Okay? Next naman natin na angle that is bisected by the diagonal is yung angle B. Angle B. So, yung angle B natin is equal to 100 degree. Since it is 100 degree and it was bisected by the diagonal, then angle 5, so angle 5 natin to, and the other side is angle 6. So angle 5 is equal to 50 degree and angle 6 is equal to 50 degree. So therefore, since the congruent of angle B is angle D, then yung angle 7 and angle 8 natin is similar with our angle 5 and 6, which is 50 degree. Dahil po, si angle D, let's write it here, angle D is equal to 100 degree. And when we divide it in two equal parts, angle 7 is equal to 50 degree and angle 8 is also 50 degree. So now we have proved already that the angles of a rhombus are bisected by the diagonal. So now we have learned about the properties of rhombus. Now let's move with the properties of square, which is also a quadrilateral, that is a parallelogram. So as we know that the square or definition of our square is, ayan, yung definition of square natin, it has the same measurement of sides, or it has equal sides. Let's proceed with our properties, or with our quadrilaterals na square. So for our square, we also have these properties. Okay, so now let's have the square, or let's name it, or have A, or H, I, J, and K. So this is square H, I, J, K, or quadrilateral H, I, J, K. Okay, so now let's have the properties of our square. So a square has all the properties of parallelogram. So therefore, we must have the 6 properties of parallelogram na dapat meron din kay square. Next is, a square has all the properties of rectangle. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga properties ni rectangle, dapat makikita din natin kay square. And next is, a square has all the properties of rhombus. So, kung ano yung properties ni rhombus, dapat ganun din kay property ni square. Okay? Now, let's have the square first. So, sa ating square, we know that a square has all equal, or has equal sides. So, kung we are going to have this one that, let's say, this is 2 inches. Then, the other 3 side is also 2 inches. So, that's why a square has a perfect, or has an equal measurement of the sides. Okay? Now, let's have the first property, which is the parallelogram. So, we are going to check all the properties that we are going to identify in our square. So, let's say, number 1, properties of parallelogram that we have. So, the both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So, we have here that line IJ, let's say here, line IJ is parallel kay line HK. Line HK. And the other opposite side is line IH is parallel as well to line JK. So, the pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So, yung opposite sides natin is also congruent kasi they have the same measurement. And also, they have the same shape, which is pareha silang mga line, and also, they have the same measurement. So, therefore, line IJ is congruent to line HK, and line IH is congruent kay line JK. So now, let's proceed with our next property, which is our one pair of opposite side is parallel and congruent. So, ibig sabihin, kung kukuha tayo ng isang pair, let's say we have IH and JK. So, ito yung isa nating pair. So, IH and JK is parallel as we have approved it to the first property. And it is also congruent. IH is congruent to JK dahil sa ating second property. So, ibig sabihin yung one pair natin is parallel and congruent. Okay? Next, number 4, both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So, we cannot define it yet. Now, let's move with our rectangle. So, sa rectangle natin, it says that all the angles of a rectangle are right angle. The definition of our right angle, it is equal to 90 degrees. So, therefore, our H, our angle H, angle I, angle J, and angle K is equal to 90 degrees. So, using this symbol, it is automatically a right angle, which we have the symbol ng right angle. So, that is 90 degrees. Now, let's proceed with our fourth properties of parallelogram, that the both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So, we have the angle H. So, angle H and the opposite side is angle J. They are congruent because they have the same measurement, which is 90 degrees. And the next pair of our opposite angle is angle I, which is also congruent to angle K, since they have the same measurement, which is 90 degrees. Okay po? So, we have here number 4 properties of parallelogram. Number 5 property is the consecutive angles are supplementary. So, ibig sabihin, angle H plus angle I is equal to 180 degree because they are both 90 degrees. And angle, ayan, yung angle I and angle J or plus angle J is also equal to 180 degrees. And another consecutive angle is angle J plus angle K is equal to 180 degrees, and angle K plus angle H is equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, the consecutive angles of our square are supplementary. Next property is number 6. The diagonals bisect each other. So we have the diagonal IK. So diagonal IK bisect JH. Okay? Or bisect by JH or line JH. And diagonal line JH bisected by line IK. So, ibig sabihin, si diagonal IK ay hinati ni diagonal JH. And si diagonal JH ay hinati or binisect by ni IK or line IK, diagonal IK. Therefore, yung ating I and the intersection of I or intersection natin dito or intersected natin is letter L. Okay? Letter L. So, ibig sabihin, yung IL natin is equal siya kay KL since it was bisected. And yung HL natin is also equal to JL natin. Okay? So now let's have, we have already the property 6 of our parallelogram. And we are done with our first property of square, which is the properties of parallelogram. Now let's proceed with number 2. A square has all the properties of rectangle. So, dapat yung mga properties ni rectangle na kay is square din. So, the first property of rectangle, I have listed here also so that we can go back. The first property is properties of parallelogram. Since we are done with our parallelogram, we can check it already. Next is, all the properties of rectangle are right angle. So, meron na tayong right angle, so it is also done. And the third property is, the diagonal of our rectangle are congruent. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung diagonal ng rectangle natin ay congruent sila. So, ibig sabihin, yung diagonal ay k natin is equal to diagonal JH natin. Ibig sabihin, if IK is equal to 4 as 5 inches, then yung JH natin or diagonal JH is also 5 inches. Kaya, if it is bisected, if the diagonal is bisected, then IL is equal to 2.5 inches and since we have used the first stroke, then we can have here the second stroke. Since yung IL natin is 2.5 inches, KL or line KL, etong KL natin. Let me use another color of pen so that we can identify. Line KL natin is also 2.5 inches. Yung line JL natin is 2.5 inches as well. And yung line HL natin is also 2.5 inches. So therefore, it was bisected by each other and the diagonal is also a congruent. Okay, so now we are done with the properties of our rectangle. Now let's proceed with our third properties of square. Okay, so sa third property of our square, a square has a properties of rhombus. So yung lahat ng properties ng rhombus natin, dapat naka-square din. So number 1, properties of rhombus. A rhombus has all the properties of parallelogram. Okay na tayo dyan sa una, so we can check it. Next is, all the sides of a rhombus are congruent. So, lahat daw ng sides natin sa rhombus ay congruent. Therefore, the square must be congruent as well. Since meron na tayong congruency ng ating square, which is also a definition of square, then we can say that line IJ is congruent kay line JK. And JK is also congruent kay line KL. And line KL is KH. And line KH is also congruent to line HI. So, ibig sabihin, they are all congruent sides. Okay? Next is number 3, properties ng rhombus. The diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular. So, ibig sabihin sa square natin, yung diagonal ng square natin is also perpendicular, which is creating a right angle. So, ibig sabihin, this one is a right angle, measures 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree, and also 90 degree. Therefore, it is a perpendicular line. Okay, next is, we have number 4. The angles of a rhombus are bisected by the diagonal. So, ibig sabihin, yung angle I natin, angle J, angle K, angle H, it was bisected. So, ibig sabihin, if angle I, J, K, H natin is equal to 90 degree, or 90 degree yung mga angle natin, and it was bisected, then yung angle I natin has 90 degree and has angle 1 and angle 2, which is equal to 45 degree since it was bisected. So, angle I natin yan. Since angle I, J, K, and H are equal and congruent, therefore, yung ating angle Angle 3 is congruent sa angle 1, and it is also congruent sa angle 3, angle 4, and also congruent sa angle 5, congruent sa angle 6, and also congruent sa angle 7 and angle 8, since we have the angle 8. So we have here angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, and angle 8. So they are all equal since it was bisected by our diagonal. So now, we have seen that the square has all the properties of rhombus. And to sum it up, the properties of square has all the properties of parallelogram, or the square has the properties of parallelogram, the rectangle, and also the rhombus. That's why meron silang mga similarities. Most especially or most important that the parallelograms, yung parallelogram natin, which is the quadrilateral, is also important in other quadrilaterals. So this is the other quadrilaterals that are parallelogram.